Hi there. My name's Dungeon, as some of y'all may know. I used to make a bunch of Castlevania stuff on Instagram, and every now and then I tried posting something here, and it it wasn't my best stuff I've released, and it was usually subpar, just me kind of shit posting anything Castlevania related. It was yeah, whatever. I thought of making a life update for the channel because I think I'm gonna give up trying to make something serious with this. Um, a lot has been going on as of late, I guess. I mean, just since the pandemic all the way to now, you know what I mean? I've completely changed as a person, and it's dumb. I thought this was a dumb idea doing this, but it's also whatever. It's not important. It's not gonna kill me to have an outlet, I guess. That's the only way I can think of saying it. So my this month I'm going to be doing my second year of welding. Welding was a career that I just pulled out of my ass literally last year because I was well, I can't say that actually. I'm not used to these, but okay. Let me start from the beginning. um, way before I started making a lot of videos, I just began my first year in college. This was before the pandemic, and I went for cybersecurity. Computers were everything at the time, so I figured, that's where the money's at. Um, I lacked the brain function to do those classes, and I lacked the patience. So the experience was great, minus some relationship troubles, but the pandemic hit around that time, so I was for shit. And I realized that I couldn't stand sitting by a desk doing nothing as a career. So I I didn't say it. I hate saying that I dropped out, but that's what I did. I just never said it. I just never went back after the pandemic began. Um, the 3 years that followed were probably the most difficult portions that I've ever had to go through in my life. Because around that time, uh, I just I was happier before the pandemic, and then once that hit, you know what I mean. We had that weird period of time where we try to make do with what we could, and I just turned 19 going into 20 at that time, so I wasn't ready for the disappointment that would follow if I continued to live my life behind the screen. um, Pandemic hit. um, I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. I mean, in high school, I always wanted to be a musician. There's my guitar there. I haven't touched that fucker, and like, it's sitting there collecting dust. It's a waste. I try to go back to it every now and then, and I try. I'm still into music. I'm practicing bass right now. Whatever. Um, I really wanted to make music a part of my life, and I even now I still struggle to make it a thing. I struggle to give myself the opportunity to get invested in that again. You know what I mean? So that was for shit. Um, I needed money. I didn't want to keep, you know, being at my folks' home and just living with no reason. So I worked at a Family Dollar. Worst experience of my life. I fucking hate managers because of that. I really do. Um, and I hated myself around that time. I truly did. Everything I did just never seemed to please managers, and I just began to just live every single day sitting on my ass doing nothing, under the illusion that, hey, I have a job, I'm immediately doing better than a lot of people right now. No, I'm not. Just because I have a job doesn't mean I'm doing any better than someone that's not. You know what I mean? And it was very, very, very stupid thought, or stupid justification I had for tolerating a really, really bad workplace. um, at some point, there was a customer that was there that he came there all the time with a Cash App. I don't use the app. I know it's popular. I don't use it. I'm kind of under a rock with that. Um, so Cash App guy, I called him Cash App guy. He looked homeless. He looked like he was, a druggie. I don't judge, but that's what it looked like. I live in a really ranky-dink sort of city. Um, he would always come by, pull out cash, leave, and do his own thing, and I always helped him out. My managers hated when I pulled out cash, but I did it because he was cool. He was cool to me. I'm gonna help him out, of course. 1 month later, he comes into the fucking store, fresh haircut, smells like evergreen, like the good kind, in a polo, khakis, and he looks greater than ever. Greater than ever. He looks amazing. Like, I just saw this dude transform his whole life in like 1 month. It was great. He went from total bum to like respectable businessman, and I was there to witness it. Every other week, every other 2 weeks, I'd see him pull out cash, and he's struggling. He's talking to me, and then he'd go and he'd do his own thing. He offered me a job to work at an RV place, cleaning RVs, detailing RVs. That was awesome. It really was. I said fuck this place, fuck Family Dollar. I'm gonna go work at this RV place, and that was great. You know what I mean? I made more money than I ever had before. That was the first time I was ever in like a man's workplace. You know what I mean? Instead of just like a fucking corporate bullshit general store. You know what I mean? And that was the first time I got my hands on to some like RVs, vehicles, you know what I mean, housing and stuff like that, all sorts of stuff, and working there, I realized that I wanted to make this part of my life. It was fun. I had fun cleaning them. I had fun learning about them. I had fun working with them, the people and the RVs that were there, and it was tough. I was in the sun. I was baked. I was tanned, but it was interesting. It was really fun, but socially it was. All I had really there at that time was my brother and a handful of friends that I talked to online, and 2 or 3 school friends. I was making good money. I got into a really, really awkward habit of buying stuff for friends, and not for them, but for older friends that aren't in the picture. Um, Buying things for everybody, and my money just went and went and went and went. So I have nothing to show for all that hard work and money that I made at that time now. Um, but I had a sense of purpose working in that kind of environment. You know what I mean? It was like getting my hands dirty. You know what I mean? Doing something bigger than just hometown. These RV places, they attract all sorts of people, travelers. Whatever. And at that moment, I was like, oh, I want to do this. You know what I mean? Where do I begin? And it started when I saw this dude under an RV welding. So at that point, I decided, you know what? I think welding or HVAC is probably going to be good for me if I ever go back. And at the time, I wasn't going to go into college for that or anything. I thought I was going to stay there. I thought I was going to make my career from there. I got laid off. It was the company cutting some corners, and they didn't want to be paying any more than they needed to. It was really, really unfortunate. It was bullshit. I didn't go back even though the position was open. That was my pride. But it is what it was. Around that time, I was struggling to make I was trying to look for a job. I was struggling to look for a job, so I decided to get into pixel art. And I'd done pixel art before. I posted some things on my Instagram page years ago, and it was some shoddy recolors, attempted repixelization of Castlevania and Fire Emblem Awakening characters. So yeah, I was a real artist there. It wasn't. It was just a bunch of recolors and me calling it original. So ooh, that's America for you. Around that time, I felt really worthless because I felt like I fucked up. and I got laid off. I couldn't help that. It wasn't a me problem. It's different from being fired and then being laid off, and the circumstances of it was because the company wanted to do something else and they needed to cut away expendables, and I was expendable. It didn't help me at all for the longest time. I've felt completely useless. I couldn't, buy stuff for my folks. I couldn't buy stuff for my friends, and I got really, really angry, you know. So for those next few months, I was really struggling to try to help my friends on other projects, try to stay busy, try to work on more Castlevania content at that time. And it was at that moment that it was just a pitfall for me, because I just found something that I can rely on, that was good for my lifestyle, because it encouraged me to keep, get on my feet, lift some things, get to know what you're working with, and it was all there, and I put all my chips in there, and it fucked it. It didn't work out, and it wasn't meant to be. I couldn't do anything about it, and that's okay. I really wish I could go back in time and tell myself that you aren't responsible for what happened then, and but I couldn't. I felt useless. I felt terrible. I really did feel all meanings of the word terrible at the time. No one I talked to could have helped me get out of that. You know what I mean? I felt like nothing. So some other drama would come in between all of that, relationship stuff, friends fighting or whatnot. I tried my best to stay afloat as best I could. It's nothing worth talking about now, but fast forward a few months later, I got another job working at a Western store, which is weird, but very, very fun. I got into a few interests here. I got to practice whip cracking, so now that's a new hobby of mine that I want to get into more. I have a new taste for boots. I love boots so much. I can't wear Converse anymore. I got fucking cowboy boots. These aren't the prettiest babies, but they're mine. I love them, and I wear them anytime I can. So there's that. But at the time, I just discovered how. I didn't discover anything. I knew this, but I struggled getting along with a lot of the employees there, because there were a bunch of girly girls. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to say it without sounding like an asshole, but they were like a bunch of those types of girls that went on Snapchat a lot, talked to a lot of guys, went on a lot of dates, expected them to pay. Something about having a bunch of hoes on Snapchat, having a baby daddy or some shit. I don't get that. I don't understand it. I'm not a part of that sort of stuff. I'm not that social. I'm amazed if I have a lady talk to me for more than 2 weeks and is still around. I'm not trying to sound pathetic, but that's just how I was raised. That's not my priority in life. And I'm not gonna go out of my way to do all these things with all these other people. You know what I mean? It's not a priority. It's not an interest for me. It really isn't. I'd rather be with my family, or go play Switch games with my friends, or I don't know. I really would rather do so many other things. And it just having those types of clashing energies in a workplace can cause some trouble every now and then. So I had to learn how to tolerate really, really stupid behavior like that. Maybe it's not stupid. Maybe I'm a prick. I don't care. It's not a problem anymore. I guess the reason why I'm bringing that part up is because at that moment, that was the first time I ever argued with a manager outright. And I've never really snapped back at a person in power like that. Or I say in power, but you know what I mean. At that point, I realized how little I stood up for myself in a lot of things. How okay I was with kind of just being kind of brushed aside, and oh, well, whatever. I'm talking, someone comes over, talks over me, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Whatever I was saying wasn't that important anyways. I fooled myself into tolerating the idea that, I'm not worth the effort. And so it left me weak, very emotionally weak, very vulnerable to be taken advantage of, and very pathetic. And it was ugly. It really was. And at some point, when we were fronting the store before the store closed, the manager there at the time started just getting stuff that wasn't presentable and like flinging it right down to the floor. Anything that I did, anything I was trying to fold it up, she just plastered it over the floor. Just pulled pants, plastered them, made a mess, and expected me to fold it up again. So I was like, the first time I was like, you know what? Like, what was the what advantage did that buy you? You know what I mean? What good did that do for you? You know what I mean? And, like, it was useless. It was very, very, like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? But that was the first time I ever really said anything to bullshit. You know what I mean? And it makes me realize, how long did I tolerate that sort of stuff before I realized that, hey, I'm worth more than this kind of treatment. I don't need to be here taking this shit. This isn't worth $9.15 an hour. You know what I mean? And at that moment, after that little argument, I grew a bit of self-worth. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't have to take this shit from you. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's just really like why? You know? Around that time, when I discovered that sense of self-worth, you know what I mean, I felt good about myself. You know what I mean? I felt like, you know what? Yeah, I am worth it. You know, I can talk. You know what I mean? If I want to say something, I want to be heard. You know what I mean? If I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna let someone talk me out of it. You know? Nah. I want better for myself. I'm gonna get better for myself. You know? And I don't know what came over me, but that same month, I decided I'm gonna go to college to be a welder. How? I don't fucking know. You know? But I made it work. You know, I got the financial aid support for it. You know, I had my folks kind of guiding me through the process of how to get the money for it. And I went to my local community college to see how that would work out. And the more I kind of tackled onto that, the more likely and possible it seemed. The more it seemed like, hey, you know what? You know, I can do it. I absolutely can. You know, it's a stretch. It's a long shot. You know, I don't lose anything, though, was the thing. I don't lose anything other than time, other than financially, which the whole point of it is to get used. You know what I mean? So it's just, fuck it. You know? That's all I could have thought at that moment, you know? At that point, I quit my job. You know, I quit that job at least. And I used up any money that I had, any sort of discounts I had at that moment to get some welding supplies. And I had to look for work again. I hate it. I hate it so much. You work to quit your job, to progress in life, only for you to have to find a job again. You know, it's just like a vicious cycle. You can't outrun it. You can never outrun it. But that's the cost of progress. You know, and sometimes you got to kick your own ass to move forward. You know, so that's life. Whatever. You know, so I got a job working at a grill, a bar and grill place, and as a dishwasher, which I hate. I hate washing dishes. I fucking hate dishes so much. Y'all don't understand how much I hate it, dude. Oh, man. I had to drink after that. I'm just like, you know, like there's that one chore you hate doing. That's it. That's mine. You know what I mean? I'll clean the whole house up and down with a toothbrush and a smile on my face. But you tell me to do dishes, dude, you're going to get this sour look the entire day. Don't even talk to me. You know? Yeah. So I got that. I ate the bullet because the money was shit, but it was money. And I had a goal. You know what I mean? I'm not doing this job just so I can feel fulfilled, you know, or because I need the money. No, I have a goal, you know? This welding shit is not cheap. You know, who's going to pay for my machine? Who's going to pay for my PPE? Who's going to pay for the classes? Financial aid, and then me. Financial aid, then me. But I was just kind of like biding my time, you know what I mean? And when I started working the classes, I started understanding how like process for everything is, you know, all the welding shit. It came together for me. I'm like, this is it. This is what I want to do. This is it. I'm gonna do this. I was excited. For 3 years of my life, I was floating. Nothing was worth it, and I depraved myself of a lot of joy, and became the the ass end of a lot of jokes for a lot of people. You know what I mean? And that's not a way for anyone to live. You know, it's not the way I wanted to live. And I've been okay with that for so long that I didn't even see it anymore. You know, I didn't see that it was a problem. So that whole time, I just floated. I existed at everyone else's expense. It was terrible. And now I finally have something that I can cling on to that makes me feel me. Something as simple as that. Something as simple as a career. Having a goal, something to work forward to was it, you know? And that makes me feel good. It really does, because of all relationship drama, you know what I mean? How I struggle to open up with some of the issues that I have in my own life and such, and my unwillingness or ignorance on how to approach all of that. You know what I mean? It all erodes slowly but surely once I have a goal in mind, and that goal for me was welding, you know, because finally it felt like it seemed possible to change my life. You know what I mean? And it's silly to say that, oh, over something as simple as just a career. Some people have it worse. You know, some people have addictions. Some people have trauma from family. Some people were bullied to fucking oblivion, to the point where they live violent lives now because they can't find peace with anyone, or they can't trust anyone, you know? But I feel like even then, it doesn't matter how it comes about to you. It what matters is if it helps you as an individual see clarity with it, you know. So that's where I am right now, you know. And I think that's a pretty good way to kind of end that update on, you know. I'm still gonna be making little videos here and there, but I'm not gonna profit from that. You know what I mean? I feel kind of icky trying to profit from something that makes me passionate, and it's dumb, but you know what? Fuck you. This is my channel. I want to make money I want to make money helping build the country back up, I guess, is what I'm saying. You know, welding is not as like badass as I'm trying to make it out, you know what I mean? But it's the idea of being involved in something that's bigger than myself. You know, building, construction, structures, you know what I mean? Pipelines and stuff like that. The heart and soul of the economy and our homes and all sorts of other stuff that comes with welding, you know what I mean? Really. But that purpose, that where I can serve a better cause, and improve myself while doing it, was a real eye-opener for me after so long of just floating and wandering and tolerating things just because I had no self-worth, you know. I don't know why I'm doing all of this to begin with. I've seen other people do it before, and I felt like, what harm is it for me, you know? I don't know if I'm going to be doing these often at all, but I wanted an outlet, and I didn't want to hold it in, I guess, nor did I want to spray it on somebody else, because I think I do that too much. So this is it. This is my medium, and it is as it is, you know. I don't know. I'm not good with ending my points. There's always something in the end, I think, is what I can get from this, is that, like, whether good or bad, the fact that I know that as long as I have direction, no matter where it is, I'll always feel good, and I'll always feel happy, because at least then I know where I'm going, and I decide where I go from there. So if I somehow manage to bomb this welding stuff, I'm fully aware of it this time. It's not in the hands of someone else. I'm not letting someone control me. I decided this because I wanted to do it. And that feeling of, this is my life. I'm doing this because I want to do it. It gives me a kind of control that I never had before. And I feel happy. And I want to express that. So, feeling expressed. You know? Yeah. Anyone that's struggling right now, or in the same boat as me, you know, you'll find that eventually. You absolutely will. I don't know when, I don't know how, but it will. You know, I don't want to say have some faith, you know, but give yourself some time. Things aren't gonna just appear. You know what I mean? They'll come to you when, I guess, when you're ready, or I guess when it's ready for you. You know? Yeah. I'll end it here.